Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.
Welcome to another edition of Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU. I'm your host, Rich Moser. A busy weekend of EIU athletics on campus this week. We have softball, we have football, we have baseball, and we're going to talk to a couple of the coaches about their upcoming events this week. We'll start with EIU softball coach Angie Nicholson. And Coach, you guys, I guess red hot would be one way to describe where you guys are right now. 11 wins in a row, I think it is, and it's over a course of a season. And I guess as a coach and a player, this is my first experience with you here at Eastern, but have you kind of been through that before, or is this kind of a first for you as a head coach in terms of a lengthy win streak like this?
We've been through it.
Okay.
I've been through it, yeah.
So I guess how do you, since you've been through it now with that experience, how do you, I guess, keep the girls focused? Because I guess the one thing you're not going to want to do is at some point in time a loss happens in a win streak, and you don't want that to then catapult into a long losing streak.
Yeah, especially at the end here. I guess, I don't know, we just know what our focus is, and our focus remains to be, ourselves and playing our game and continue to hopefully play well in the conference. We've got the 2 non-conference games coming up tomorrow. And, of course we want to win, but, that's really not our focus.
And you guys have done it in a variety of ways. A lot of times when you look at winning streaks, you look at, okay, one player is driving the offense, or one pitcher is just kind of having a great game every game out there. You guys have done it in a combination of ways, even evidence this past weekend where on Saturday you get a pair of shutout victories like 1-0, 2-0, and the day before the offense kind of was able to carry the load, and so the pitching staff didn't have to be as sharp.
Yeah, and they weren't, and it's so weird that's just what we don't know what we're going to get, and that's the frustration I'm having right now. And I love the 11-game win streak, but we did, and we were at Belmont, and our pitchers weren't pitching well, but our offense, we hit 4 home runs in that game, and we're just, our offense totally picked up our pitching, and the next day our pitching is fantastic, and we can't score a run, so. But we're finding ways to pull it out and pull together as a team, and that is what's good. Is it's scary, but it's good. Is the fact that we are doing everything as a team, so it's nice.
Now, when you talk about the pitchers, it's still the focus is on the 2 senior pitchers you have on the staff, Hannah Miniga and Stephanie Madej, and it looks like a lot of times on the doubleheaders you're throwing one game, one the other game, and so far I think during the win streak you guys haven't. They've been sharp enough to where you haven't had to go back and have another one. Whoever threw the first game hasn't had to a lot of times go back and get you out of the second game, which I'm sure you're happy about as a coach.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we had to go to Hannah Rocker, the freshman, to finish off the game against Belmont. Madej was struggling a little bit, and so we went with Rocker, runners on second and third. I don't think there were any outs, so that was kind of scary. But Hannah Rocker did a fantastic job coming in and picking up the slack. So, it's been nice. And I've been able to throw Rocker in there to close for, either one of them. And not, I don't want to bring Madej's in for Ninja's game, and I don't want to bring Meniga back in for Madej's game if I don't have to. If I can continue to go with Rocker, that's what I'd like to do.
And then offensively, you guys have been carried by a couple different players. Renee Hutchinson seems to be driving the ball and hitting for a lot of power now. And the way you guys have the lineup set, that really makes you good from top to bottom, and the fact that she usually bats down around the 7 hole.
Yeah. We it's funny because I could really move them around quite a bit, and do things. But, we've had a lot of surprises. Jeanette Isaac in that leadoff spot has been a surprise, leading us in batting average and everything. She's been doing great, finding ways to get on. Brooke, you got Brooke, Cole, and, Hutch. Yes, Hutch can really be a major, major role for us. And she gets it. She understands it. She listens so well. She's so coachable. I really, what she did against Belmont is what I could see her doing all the time. And, her home runs were legit, and it was beautiful to watch.
Now you guys come back home, and you haven't been at home during a large portion of the season, but you've been at home a lot in the month of April. You guys, this will be your last home regular season series. There's still an opportunity that you could host the conference tournament here, which on graduation weekend. And this weekend, you guys come in against Austin Peay, which is a key series in the fact that it's games on your half. The rest of the way out, you will play opponents on your half, which between you and SIU Edwardsville and I think UT Martin, you guys are kind of all still jockeying for positions to help yourself in the tournament.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be nice to be at home. I feel like we haven't been at home, so that will be really nice. But yeah, I mean, we just got to stay focused on ourselves and play our game. I feel Austin Peay I don't care what anybody's record is. Austin Peay, you got at one end of the spectrum, you got SIU at the other, and we just have to remain focused on ourselves and play our game and take care of our business, and hopefully it'll all fall and go the way we want it to go. So we're just going to stay focused on us.
Now, with a lot of the goals still set ahead of you guys, and you still have a lot of seniors on this year's team, at some point in time you start to look, I guess, towards the future. Are there now opportunities during certain games, like a 11-3 win over Belmont the other day, where you can get a younger player in there really kind of to prep them for the role they're going to be in next year, the year after, or are you really just kind of staying with that senior leadership throughout the course of a game?
Well, I like to stay with what's working because we've been so up and down. I'm trying to still get them those feel goods, and I want them to get that feel good. Those that are playing, because I mean they need it. They need, like Ashley Westover hitting her first career home run like that. I mean, she needed that. She has been struggling at the plate. It felt amazing. Could I put some of the other young ones in? But right now, until you beat somebody out, I'm sorry, but those that are getting the job done are going to continue to play.
Now, as we wrap up, and we'll talk a little bit more about this next week as you guys go into the final regular season series, I guess what are some things that you guys have been happy about during your first year? There's always change when you have a coaching staff come in and a team has been there. I guess what are some things that you and your staff have been happy about that the kids have really bought into over the course of the season?
I think just our overall mentality and what we're trying to do on the field. I think the kids just going along with what we're doing, listening, learning, and understanding it, and having an open mind about all of it. That's made me happy. I'm real glad they like it. They agree with it, and they see the difference that has taken place. When we talk after a game, when we win 1-0, I'm glad we won, but they get that we're better, and they understand, and they shake their head, and they look at me with their eyes, and they know and understand it. And I think for me as a coach, when I see that the looks on their faces when we talk about those things, and they agree, that makes me happy.
All right, well, I know you got a couple weeks left, Coach, but it's been a great first season for you here. 36 wins already heading into this week. Opportunity to get over 40 here at home. People will be out there. Weather's supposed to be nice this weekend. I know you guys haven't been home, but it has been nice here a couple of the weekends where, fortunately, you guys have been on the road. Austin Peay this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, 1 o'clock doubleheader on Saturday, 1 o'clock single game on Sunday out there at Williamsville. Come on out, watch the softball team. A lot of great seniors and veteran players on the team for first-year head coach Angie Nicholson. So good luck out there this weekend, Coach, and we will talk to you next week. Be right back with This Week in EIU Athletics.
Garoppolo back, bump fake, in trouble, rolling to the right. Jimmy looking into the end zone, rolling out to the right, throws over the middle, touchdown!
On the season finale of Panther Sports Talk, it's the conclusion to a record-breaking career at Eastern Illinois for quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. From the Panthers making another postseason appearance to winning the Walter Payton Award, as well as the All-Star Games, workouts, and then the NFL Draft. It's Jimmy Garoppolo's journey to pro football. It's the season finale of Panther Sports Talk, Wednesday, May 14th at 6:30 on WEIU. Panther fans, here's what's going on in Panther athletics. Baseball now 12-27 overall and 6-19 in OVC play, as they went 1-3 this past week. They lost against Indiana State 6-4 and went 1-2 at Southeast Missouri State this past weekend, winning Game 3 of the series 10-3. On Tuesday, the Panthers were at Illinois. For the result and stats of that game, check out EIUPanthers.com. Softball now 34-11 overall and 14-4 in OVC play, as the Panthers extend their winning streak to 11 games. They won both games at OVC rivals Belmont and Tennessee State. And on Wednesday, prior to the airing of this show, the Panthers hosted Butler in a doubleheader at Williams Field. For the results and stats of those games, check out EIUPanthers.com. Track competed at the SIU Edwardsville Gateway Invite this past weekend. The Panthers posted 5 first-place finishes, including 17 top 3 finishes. The women finished first overall, and the men placed second overall in the meet. And on Tuesday, EIU hosted the Tuesday Tweener at O'Brien Field and prepped for the Drake Relays. For the results of Tuesday's meet, check out EIUPanthers.com. Men's tennis wrapped up their season as they lost in the first round of the OVC Tennis Championships in Paducah, Kentucky. They lost 4-3 to Morehead State. They finished the season 7-10 overall. Women's tennis also wrapped up their season as they lost in the first round of the OVC Tennis Championships in Paducah, Kentucky. They also fell to the Eagles of Morehead State. They finished the season 11-6 overall. Men's soccer hosted 2 matches this past Saturday at Lakeside Field in Governor's Cup play that wrapped up the Panthers' spring match schedule. Now here's what to watch for this week. On Wednesday, women's golf wraps up play at the OVC Golf Championships in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. For the results of that tournament for the Panthers, check out EIUPanthers.com. On Thursday, men's golf begins playing the OVC Golf Championships in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and track begins a 3-day run at the Drake Relays in Des Moines, Iowa. On Friday, men's golf with Day 2 at the OVC Golf Championships, track with Day 2 at the Drake Relays, and baseball begins a 3-game series over at Cocha Stadium against OVC rival Belmont at 3 o'clock. On Saturday, men's golf with Day 3 of the OVC Golf Championships. Track wraps up competition at the Drake Relays. And Panther football with their annual spring game over at O'Brien Field. The game is slated to start at 12 o'clock. Softball begins a 3-game series against OVC West rival Austin Peay with a doubleheader. Starting at 1 o'clock, Game 2 is at 3 o'clock. Baseball with Game 2 of their 3-game series over at Cocha Stadium against Belmont. That game is slated to start at 1 o'clock. On Sunday, men's golf wraps up competition at the OVC Golf Championships. Softball wraps up their 3-game series over at Williams Field against Austin Peay at 1 o'clock. And baseball concludes their 3-game series against Belmont over at Cocha Stadium at 1 o'clock. And next Tuesday, April 29th, baseball is at St. Louis for a 6 o'clock game. For Panther Sports Talk, I'm Ramin Kerbasian.
Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk right here on WIU. Joined now by EIU Baseball coach Jim Schmitz. And Coach, you guys will be back home this weekend. We talked to Coach Nicholson about, she hasn't been home as quite as much as you guys. You guys have been lucky and been able to squeeze some games in. You actually came off a relatively good home stand in terms of being at home for a period of time last week, and then went on the road on a short week and played at Southeast Missouri and was able to get the last game of that series to kind of get a little momentum to bounce into this week.
Yeah, I mean, we got, the next 4 weekends where we are right now in the standings. We're playing everyone that if we make an impact, win 2 out of 3, or maybe even sweep them, that it's going to help us. So with 4 weekends to go, the schedule is kind of what you want. You're playing people that you either knock them out of the race or they knock you out of the race. So, at SEMO, we had 1 bad inning in the first 2 games. Just got ourselves in a hole game 1, game 2, caught back right into the game, and then all of a sudden had a bad inning. I think it's inning 7. So, we ended up really well. I mean, SEMO's really hot, and Joe Greenfield pitched probably the way we thought he should have pitched all year, really dominant. So, those are good signs. Hopefully that's the spark that'll get us through this. We got Illinois tomorrow, and then obviously Belmont coming in. So, we finally got some pitchers really going out and putting out some dominant performances.
Now, and it seems like, I don't want to say deja vu, but we've talked about this over the last couple of weeks where one of the 3 or 4 guys you guys had counted on as being a frontline starter, he's had a good game that weekend. And I know as a coach, you're kind of sitting there crossing your fingers that I'm going to get 2 of those 3 guys to put it together on a weekend, or even better, 3 of those guys. This weekend you talked about it was Joe Greenfield. Last week, even in a losing effort, we talked about that Matt Borens had allowed 1 earned run and almost went the distance. So the pitching staff is coming together. It's just, I guess, a matter of them kind of putting together back-to-back games in a series.
Yeah, I mean, we really feel, if you look at everyone in the league, everyone seems to have 1 good arm. We feel really good about our 3 guys that go out there. We played almost everybody so far, and feel that 2 of those guys, if they go out and just pitch the way they're capable of, we have a great chance of winning. So, like I said, we kind of made a defensive lapse in game 1, game 2. The reliever came in, that was just not a good pitching performance. So, every season you want to kind of get it going. I've said it the last couple of weekends, and we really haven't been able to go out and play 3 good games. So we have to do that and to get back into any kind of a race to make the tournament.
Now, in terms of offense, the bats seem to be coming alive at different parts, and unfortunately it's not guys putting it together, it's different guys sporadically through games. Brent Volek, I don't think people realized how big of a loss he was early in the year, but I think he's showing what kind of a player he is. He's hitting around 450 since he's come back, and on Saturday during the win had another great day, helped carry the offense.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told the team. Good teams really don't rely on a few people. I mean, they get people to step up. Caleb Howell, who's having a great year, had a kind of a quiet weekend. They kind of pitched him really hard. And there's Brant Volek stepping up, Dimitri Taylor stepping up, Mitch Gasparo, Tyler Schweiger. So we really now in the lineup, there's probably 6 or 7 guys that are really kind of on, a little hot right now. They feel good in there, a lot of confidence. So, but Brant, like we said, I think last week he's had the broken bone in his hand. He's not playing 100%, and just gives us that right-handed pop that we really lack there. And what a great weekend he had. 2 big 3-run home runs on that Saturday game, which really sparked us there.
I think the other thing people overlook is how solid of a defensive third baseman he is. He was the OVC Freshman of the Year a couple years ago, and I think he helped solidify you at a position that I think a lot of times people overlook on the baseball diamond, because if you can put a good defender there, it allows you to shift other guys around. So I'm sure from a defensive standpoint, that's also helped you when you're trying to solidify you got yourselves out there.
Yeah, it's very rare for a freshman to come in and really play defense. Sometimes they're able to hit, but the game's a little faster. Obviously balls are hit a little harder, and he's just, he came in ready to play. Tyler Schweiger did a great job, subbing for him when he was injured. But right now, the left side of the infield, him and Dane Sauer are playing exceptional. Like I said, pitchers are now starting to get out there and dominate, and 5 to 7 hitters are really starting to hit. So, it's 4 weeks to go. We're not making it any bigger than what it is, but I think right now we have a lot of things really on all cylinders and feel good about it.
Now, as I think using a coach term, people always use the term, the schedule's now got to come back to you guys. If you look at the standings, you played the top of the OVC early in the year. You guys are still in the race there with the teams that are right around you, and I think even 1 or 2 of them that are below you in the standings are who you have remaining. So you had mentioned it earlier. You win 2 out of 3, you sweep a series, you climb over a team that right now is right where you're at, and that's going to start this week with Belmont, who's a team that's right around you guys in the series.
Yeah, it can't be a better schedule. We have Belmont at home, we have Moorhead at home, we go to EKU and finish up at Tennessee Martin. These are everyone that's right around us. So we feel we have to sweep, one of these. It just has to happen for us to make that jump with 3 wins. The guys know it. I thought how they responded Saturday after the Friday. We didn't play well. And when you're not winning, it's really hard on the morale. But I think the way they came back Saturday, it was kind of like, we're going to make a rush here. We're going to make a push to get back in it. And so with the way we're playing and the morale right now, I think they're out there ready just to have fun and see how we can end out.
Now, the other thing, part of this weekend, the series will be against Belmont. It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 on Friday, 1 and on Saturday and Sunday out at Coach's Stadium. On Saturday, Coach, prior to the game, they're kind of put together this 20 years of you as the head coach here at Eastern Reunion. I know you're a little bit involved with it. Your wife, Kathy, has helped spearhead that and invited a lot of the guys that you coached over the years to come back. So I guess for you, what is it going to, now that you've done 20 years here, what's it going to be like to go out there and some of these guys maybe you coached 20 years ago who are now grown men and have families of their own, they may be out there. I mean, I guess that's going to bring back some good memories for you as you head out there, and we honor you this weekend.
I'm real excited. I've gotten a lot of emails, a lot of texts the last couple of weeks. I know it's hard for everybody to get back, but this has been good. This has been a good place for me. They still stay in touch. We have the alumni golf outing in the fall. It's so neat to just have a guy pop in my office and see how he's doing with his family or his job. So we've done a lot of really good things here. We've had a lot of really good people, good players, good coaches. So for me, it's a lot of great memories. I'm excited to see people when they come back and just share some of the really good memories we've had.
All right, and so they'll honor Coach out there. They'll be on Saturday. 1 o'clock is the game time. About 12:30, 12:45, I think, is when we're going to do the ceremony and invite the guys that have played for you that are there to come out. They've got a special presentation for you. So the weather's supposed to be nice. Between baseball, softball, and spring football game, you're going to have a weekend full of activities. So everybody should pack a lunch, come on out, start Friday at baseball, then catch all 3 on Saturday, and catch baseball and softball on Sunday at the 2 fields as both teams make a drive for the OVC tournament. We're going to wrap up this week's show. We're going to wish Coach best of luck and congrats on the 20 years. We're also going to celebrate the 500th win, which we talked about, it seems like months ago now, the way the baseball season goes, for his 500th victory here at Eastern Illinois. They'll celebrate that this weekend as well. Like we said, baseball, softball, spring football all this week. We're going to wrap up this week's show with some highlights from the Tuesday games this week, baseball up at Illinois, and then also softball against Butler here on campus. Thanks for watching this edition of Panther Sports Talk.
WEIU is your home for Eastern Illinois Panther sports. Panther football.
Here comes the blitz. Jimmy's going to throw it deep down the middle. Laura's out there. Got it. And he's on his way. Garoppolo burns the blitz. Touchdown, Eastern Illinois.
Panther basketball.
All the way. Laid it up. No. Another dunk. Petrowski again. Back-to-back rebound dunks.
Panther greats. WEIU is your home for Panther sports.
About 9.
On base after 7.
WEIU, your home for Eastern Illinois Panther Sports, presents Panther Sports Talk. Highlights, player features, and coaches interviews with host Rich Moser. All things you need to know EIU sports on Panther Sports Talk.
Join us Wednesday at 6:30 on WEIU.
Production for Panther Sports Talk is brought to you in part by Johnson's Automotive Service is a proud supporter of Panther Sports on WEIU. Johnson's is a complete car facility for all your automotive repair and maintenance needs. Johnson's Automotive Service, keeping your life running.